So huge Nintendo Switch 2 information and news just dropped. We've got to go over everything that's happening with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. This is the first time a Call of Duty game is hitting a Nintendo platform in over a decade. It's been multiple generations. We're going to get the first breakdown of Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch 2, in addition to the developer and what you can expect from this game. We also have Persona 6, it seems like legit leaks of this game, so we got to talk about that, and the return of Rayman Legends. That is also something that's pretty cool, plus a massive sales update for the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. It's firing on all cylinders in Japan before the big price hike, so we got a lot to get into. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. Publisher Activision and developer Infinity Ward have officially announced Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. It will launch for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC via Steam, Microsoft Store, and Battle.net on October 23rd. And it does seem like they are officially dropping the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of Call of Duty. So interesting business situation there. I know it's a long time coming. Those systems are old and it's harder to fit them all on those platforms. But yeah, that is something that's interesting to see with Call of Duty. Now, there's a bunch of information on the Standard Edition, the Vault Edition, and a ton of information on the game and what they're talking about when it comes to like the warfare without limits, and they're on the Korean Peninsula as North Korea launches a full-scale invasion that threatens to destabilize the world of Call of Duty. So all of those details are there. Shout outs to Gematsu and of course Call of Duty team for putting all that out if you want to check it out. There's going to be a standard campaign. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of multiplayer. They've talked about the movement and the traversal. All of that is updated and they feel is going to be better than what they've done before in past Call of Duty games. They talk about the maps and everything there, progression and customization. All that is coming back bigger and better than ever, in addition to additional multiplayer intel and more stuff that's going to be coming in upcoming shows and stuff that they're going to talk about. But what we got to get into here when it comes to Call of Duty, we got to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 version of it. I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan, so I'm not really super interested in all the different stuff there, but I do think that yes, this is a huge moment when it comes to the system to be legitimized and for people to be able to pick that up as a confident buy, because Call of Duty is a staple on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and it's just been absent for a decade plus on Nintendo platforms. So I realize that it's an important type of game. So they say this about Call of Duty expanding to the Nintendo Switch 2. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 is coming to Nintendo Switch 2, bringing the Modern Warfare series to Nintendo players for the first time in more than a decade. The last one that was to come to a Nintendo platform was, I think, Call of Duty Ghosts on the Wii U in 2013. So it's been 13 years since the last Call of Duty game on a Nintendo platform. All right, let's talk about this a little bit more. So Infinity Ward, in partnership with Digital Legends, is developing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 natively for the Nintendo Switch 2. More details on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 for the Nintendo Switch 2, including when players can pre-order, will be shared later this summer. So you can already pre-order it on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, but Nintendo Switch 2 is going to come a bit later. Maybe it's going to be at a Nintendo Direct. I think that's probably when they're going to announce the pre-orders, when everything kind of goes live there with that. So once again, I'm not a big Call of Duty fan myself, but it's cool to see Call of Duty finally come back. I know Bobby Kotick said that that was one of the big mistakes that he made, was not making a specific version, a native Call of Duty for the Nintendo Switch 1, despite the system's popularity. It almost seems like it was backwards. The Wii U wasn't very popular, but they had multiple Call of Duty games on there, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghosts, whereas the Nintendo Switch 1 is significantly more popular than the Wii U, and then they're like, yeah, you know what, no Call of Duty on that system. And it's funny because they put Call of Duty games out on the original Nintendo Wii, and those did well, not in comparison to the Xbox and PlayStation, but just did well for a small port of some of those games. So the fact that they just decided that it'd be a bad idea to not put it out on the Nintendo Switch 1, despite supporting the original Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I think that was a huge mistake, but it does seem like they're rectifying it here, because within the first year or so of the Nintendo Switch 2, because of the deal that Microsoft and Nintendo have and the whole court case and with Activision Blizzard and all that, they have a 10-year agreement when it comes to Call of Duty and the Nintendo Switch 2. They also have the same 10-year agreement with PlayStation. Now, the developers of Call of Duty did put out a bit more information talking about the development for the Switch 2 in particular, and they said it's been smooth. To be honest, things just work. The game got up and running on the platform really quickly once we got the hardware. So far, it's been really good. To be honest, it's been really fun to be on a new platform. Call of Duty finally coming over when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 platform, Nintendo just in general. So good for those people who definitely want to play some Call of Duty, because I know people have been clamoring for it for a while now. So what do you guys think about Call of Duty finally making its way back to the Nintendo platform with the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. But now I want to get you guys' opinion on what's happening here with Persona 6. We got the first apparently protagonist images leaking with a release date set apparently for September 2027. So a batch of Persona 6 concept art, which a Sega Atlas insider has confirmed are legitimate, have leaked online ahead of the Summer Game Fest. The game's main protagonist is a boy with the blonde bowl haircut. A previous leak said that the game features a dual protagonist, but a prominent leaker says that there's just one, and the girl featured in the concept art being a side character. Persona 6 takes place in Yokohama, and its release date is apparently penciled in for September 2027. So this concept art definitely looks like it could be official here. The boy in the art here, I thought it was a girl at first. I thought this was two girls at first, but apparently that's a boy. So we'll see how the character looks. If this does turn out to be 100% correct, we'll see how it looks. But we do have apparently multiple leakers here that are confirming this information, and it looks like it would be concept art for the next Persona game. I'm interested in seeing how all of this is going to work out. Like, I love Persona. I think it's a fantastic franchise, and Persona 6 has been a long time coming. It's been a decade since the release of Persona 5 on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4 in Japan, 2016. That's when the game came out, and here in the US it came out in early 2017, right around Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. So it was a pretty cool first half of the year back in 2017. A lot of great games to play, but I'm just looking forward to something next. It's been forever. They've been milking Persona 5 for so long. So many spin-offs, mobile games, all sorts of stuff, tactical games, dancing games. There's just crazy amounts of Persona 5 stuff, so I am completely ready to move on to the next thing. So for me, it's all about the gameplay. Character design, that's obviously awesome. I know that the character design is going to be good enough. It's going to be fine, but I want to see what they do with the gameplay. I want to see what they do with the calendar system. I want to see what they do with the actual like dating and what they do with the flow and the mechanics of the game. That's been one of my biggest issues. I'm not a fan of eating a burger that takes up the whole half of your day. So I want to see some new innovative mechanics that incorporates the time that it takes to do certain things a bit better. You do one thing, it takes up one whole half of the day. You do something at night, it takes up the rest of the day. So that's where I'm at when it comes to Persona. So we'll see what they do there. But yeah, Persona 6 seems like it's going to be announced pretty soon here, Summer Game Fest, and I'm hoping that they have a Switch 2 version. I'm thinking you're looking at the Japanese sales that they're going to have that, but we'll see what happens there. So what do you guys think about Persona 6 and the leaks here for some of the characters? You can let me know in the comments. But now we have to move on to Rayman Legends Retold. It seems like Rayman Legends is making a comeback as a remake, and they are calling it Rayman Legends Retold, and that makes sense. You're retelling the same thing here, but there's a twist. Apparently there's going to be some 3D levels in this one, so we got to talk about that and what's going on with Insider Gaming, as they usually have the beat on what's happening with Ubisoft. So the Rayman Legends remake, which has been in development at Ubisoft, appears to be titled Rayman Legends Retold. The logo leaked online for what was once referred as Project Steambot internally at Ubisoft. We know from information posted by video game journalist Tom Henderson that the remake of the game, which some may say doesn't necessarily need the remake treatment, is in development along with a brand new Rayman adventure. The leaker says that he has, quote, a bunch more screenshots, skins, and concept arts, but I heard an announcement is near, so I won't post. So Insider Gaming understands that the reveal of Rayman Legends Retold, aka Project Steambot, is expected within the next week, and that the game is scheduled to release on October 1st, 2026. So yeah, Rayman Legends is a game that originally was made for the Wii U, and then because of the Wii U's terrible sales, they delayed it and ported it over to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC and everything. And ultimately it ended up selling well after an amount of time and all the different platforms and discounts and sales. But I do think that they were expecting maybe a bit more for it, but it's coming back now at this point, and they have a new one as well. Rayman Legends, a lot of people feel, is as high quality, if not better, than the best Nintendo 2D platformers out there. So it's a high reviewing game. I think it plays really well. I do like Rayman Legends. I think it's cool. The fact that they're bringing it back, it's probably going to look a lot better. It already looked really good back on the previous hardware. So I'm looking forward to checking it out on the Nintendo Switch 2 and probably Xbox PlayStation. It's going to come out on everything, it seems. So what do you guys think about Rayman Legends Retold? You can let me know in the comment section. All right, now we got to get into another thing here. We've got the debut sales for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book in Japan, the physical sales, and the last week of sales before the big price increase for the Nintendo Switch 2, the Famitsu sales, May 18th, 2026 through May 24th, 2026. And it lines up to where the price increase was on May 25th. So Japanese gamers scrambled like crazy to buy the Nintendo Switch 2. Over the last 4 weeks, the system has sold nearly 700,000 units in Japan alone, about 680,000 units plus. So that is crazy, because the last week that we're going to talk about here, the Nintendo Switch 2 sold 247,880 units. It's up to a staggering 5.8 million units in less than a year. That by far is a record when it comes down to it. It's actually chasing down the base PlayStation 5 already in Japan, because that system has sold 5.9 million. So it does seem like it's going to pass up that base PlayStation 5 within like the next week or so. We got to see what the dip will be after the price increase, but I do think it's probably going to stabilize like around maybe 40 to 50K before bigger games do come out. But yes, Nintendo's dominating in Japan. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, the game sales for that are 39,661. It was the second charting best-selling game for the week, so pretty much right in line with what a Yoshi game would sell for the most part. And once again, there's no digital here. I know the game is in the top 3 to 5 sales digital in Japan and in most places right now, but Tomodachi Life still killing it at the top of the board here with over 64,000 units. And pretty much the whole top 10 was all either Switch 1 or Switch 2. Pretty much all Switch 2. We're starting to see where Switch 2 is getting a lot more games in here. Mario Kart World, Tales of Arise started out at 11,000. That's not bad for a really old port at this point, but I mean, obviously it's not anything crazy, only 11,000 units. And even Kirby Air Rider's getting back into the top 10 here, so that's that. But the Nintendo Switch 2 pretty much dominating every single other platform right now. But if you look at the other hardware, the Switch 1 family of systems sold 9,539 units, while the PlayStation 5 family of systems sold 8,673 units. So both of those are getting blasted by Switch 2 because people were scrambling to pick up the system. There's a lot of cool games upcoming, so it makes sense. Stuff like Splatoon Raiders, Star Fox, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. So I'm pretty sure Japanese gamers are going to want to be able to play all those. So pick it up before the price increase, and we'll see how it does afterwards. So what do you guys think about everything that we talked about here? A lot of different topics. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.